Okay, we're here with Miki Erickson, our election expert in paid media, and we're going to dive into some questions about the upcoming presidential campaign and its impact on advertising. So, Miki, to start, where are we seeing the greatest increase in spend compared with previous elections?
So in the previous elections, most past one in 2020, we saw about $2.1 billion in advertising spend, which is expected to increase by 30% for this election year. We're seeing a lot of tension between traditional media and then more of the social and search side. So kind of fighting for users' attention during this time where they're feeling a lot of fatigue. The average user consumer sees about 5 to 6,000 advertisements in a day, and that's expected to amplify um, during this election period, particularly in battleground states where we're expected to see about 76% of overall advertising spend for this
Wow,
election.
that's a lot. What about our non-political advertisers? What can we expect for campaign performance during this period?
So without proper precaution, you could definitely see, you're going to see an increase in advertising costs. So your CPCs, your CPMs, and potential to get lost in kind of the noise of the influx of advertising in general. So it's really important to kind of make the decision if you're able to kind of emphasize your campaigns to not get lost in the noise or kind of pull back and retreat during this time.
hmm Yeah. What kind of, CPC increases would you expect? Like
Um,
10%?
Yeah, we're looking at about a 20% increase in CPCs and
Wow.
CPMs.
Okay. That's good to know. And this kind of continue through November, or is it going to stop and just drop off? What do you think?
So the kind of critical 12-week period that we've mapped out is about mid to late August through November 5th. So you can see kind of the peak of that spend right around election day. And then you can see it kind of calm down a little bit. But then, of course, we get into the seasonality of the holidays. So the election period is kind of like seasonality in its own right, but it's a little bit more volatile, I would say, than traditional holiday seasonality. So kind of
Mhm.
being prepared to go back to back with those.
Yeah. What would you say advertisers can do to kind of weather this storm? Should they avoid this time period or should they lean into it?
I think that's a decision that each brand or company needs to make personally. If you have the budget and the bandwidth to take advantage of these high impact areas, you really tailor to kind of combat user fatigue, absolutely. But if you don't feel that you have the budget, the bandwidth, or it's just not something you're interested in doing, definitely pulling back spend to combat these increases in CPC, CPMs, put bid caps on things and really just control spending and your messaging and just go after like high quality leads rather than quantity.
So, for the brands that decide to go all in and want to capture that attention, how do you suggest that brands manage any potential brand safety risks? Like I imagine that, there's a lot of brands who might not necessarily want to be appearing alongside certain ads, might want affiliation with certain ads. Is there any way that you suggest that brands navigate these waters?
Yeah, absolutely. So, an example of kind of these safeguards that you can put in place is keyword negatives. So, creating a master keyword list, whether that be all through all of your lines of business, all of your accounts, all of your campaigns, etc. Making sure that you don't get lumped in with affiliating with any candidate, with any kind of event surrounding the election, because even if you need to make sure you put safeguards in not only just for candidate, but also events like we had the Republican National Convention, the Democratic National Convention, any sort of kind of rally or speeches given, any debates. So making sure that you have a really robust negative keyword list to make sure that you don't have any affiliation with that. while maintaining or maybe tailoring even your copy and your advertising to make sure that, you're not trying to kind of even accidentally promote a candidate or an idea.
Yeah. I've seen some brands kind of lean into it as well and take a more controversial maybe stance by supporting or echoing something a candidate says. Do you feel like that's a effective strategy, or does it just depend on the brand maybe?
I think it depends on the brand. There are particular brands that I know are built around a lot of social causes. So if you're a brand that really the foundation of who you are as a brand is surrounded in social causes, or you have a really strong belief that you're not afraid to be 100% affiliated with, 100% lean into that. And like I said, if you have the budget and the bandwidth for that, absolutely, this is a great time to capitalize on that. However, if you're kind of a brand that leans back and doesn't really give many opinions, and it's just really focused on, your own brand image and your product or your service, definitely to focus on these high quality leads and make sure that your copy is really just about who you are as a brand. And another suggestion I have too, there should be a lot of user fatigue, like I said. So making sure that your copy and your message is just straight to the point and highlights like reliability and durability. I know the economy is on the top of the list for a lot of voters and a lot of consumers. And so they're not really looking to spend extra money right now with the volatility of people look at the election and don't really know what's going to happen with the economy. So just making sure that you can highlight the value of your brand during this time without promoting a certain side of the election is really important.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm definitely seeing a lot of ads myself. And I know that my sister lives in Pennsylvania and they get it even worse than up here in New York. So it's definitely an important time to stick to your message and be clear as a brand. Janelle, Miki, any other parting thoughts or advice for advertisers?
I think just the bottom line is deciding, first deciphering if you're in one of these really high impact areas, and then making the decision of, am I going to pull back and just keep my campaigns kind of safe, or I'm going to take advantage of the extra attention in the advertising space.
Great. All right. Well, thanks, Miki, so much for this quick take on the election. We will talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.